Hi guys, thanks for deciding to have a look at this little miniature workshop that we're going to be talking about today. Main focus of everything that we're going to be doing today is looking at the muscles that you guys as footballers use and trying to figure out the best ways of loosening them out and getting a bit more length into them. If you think about what you're doing when you're playing a football match, no matter what position that you're in, there's certain actions that you guys do that are a lot more frequent. So it'd be kicking a ball, sprinting, changing direction quickly, trying to get some agility. So there's certain muscles that you use a lot more than any other sport really. So what we thought we'd walk you through now, obviously with the Euros coming on, is to see how we can work on stretching those out for you. So some of the muscles we're going to work through, got the quad muscles here, obviously some big kicking muscles. We're working through into the hip flexors, your glutes, again something that we don't often stretch, a really, really important area to work through here. Your hamstrings, which are in the back of the leg and the calves. So they're some of the areas that we're going to cover for you. Hopefully it's picked up a few bits that you guys are kind of aware of that perhaps need a little bit of work on. So these sorts of things actually are exercises that pro teams are doing all over the shop. Just recently I was in a workshop with a lady that's the yoga instructor for Manchester United and Manchester City. So she's introducing all these exact same exercises to the pro footballers. So you're really just kind of following their lead really. So we won't hang around, we'll go straight to it guys. So the first thing we're going to work through is actually into the hamstrings and the calves. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to take into just a all-fours position first of all. We're going to take your toes under and we just lift up. Now it's not important what we're worrying about the names of these poses are or anything else like that at all, but the important part is making sure that we get the right stretches and we experience the right sensations when we're doing it. So, what we need to think about when we're in this position, we're going to push your hands firmly into the ground, spread your fingers so you get a nice good grounding here. Push your head through the gap. Just a slight stretch through the shoulders here as well, but what we should hopefully feel is if we lift that bum just a little bit higher, we start to get a quite nice stretch through from the calf through to the back of the legs and maybe up even to the very bottom of the bum there. So we're just looking at holding that position there. What we can even do is bring ourselves up onto our tiptoes, push our head through the gap a little bit further, and then sink again. As long as we make the main focus of this whole move about keeping this bum lifted, keeping it up high up to the ceiling, then that will give you the stretch that you need. Don't worry about how far your heels get down to the floor. If you're touching the floor, then great. We can actually reset and bring your hands a bit closer and pike a little bit higher. If you're more than likely going to be a little bit higher, your heels maybe lifting a little bit, not a problem at all. So then from here we're also going to start to pedal the feet. If you bend one knee, this will put a much greater stretch on this straight leg. So my right leg at the moment. And then we can change that onto the other side. Okay, so we can change those back and forth. We can actually go through just a little bit quicker. You just work with the boundary that the body lets you go to. Excellent, and then have one more little squeeze just to get a little bit further. Lower yourself down to the floor. Okay, we can uncurl the toes right there. There's some other poses that we're going to go through now that are going to work into slightly different areas of the body. Next one shall be, next slide is working on the inner thigh. So, what we're going to try to do now, we're going to take a nice big step forward. So you're in a lunge position, if you like, on the knee though. So we're going to take both hands, we're going to place them on the floor just inside that right knee, that right foot, and you're going to slide your back leg behind you. Now if we move the hands slightly further forward and we sink down, we'll start to get quite a strong stretch down the inner thigh. Take that onto the other side, so you can change the legs over. We don't need to worry about the names or the poses or what's going on. All we need to worry about is what we're feeling and where. So again, the hands are inside, that leg, the toes are untucked. And what we're trying to do is actually drop your hip below your knee. So if we come up higher, which is probably where most of you are going to be, you're still going to feel a good stretch, but a little bit more flexible so we can sink a little bit deeper. I want to make sure that the knee stays tucked into the shoulder as well. And again, we sink down to as far as we can go. Perfect. Okay, whilst we're in this all four position, there's another exercise that we can do. We're going to bring your right leg forward again, but if you move it over towards your left hand, just let it drop down. So we'll show you this on the other side again as well in a moment. But what we're looking to achieve now is to get this shin parallel to the end of the mat, or just at 90 degrees to the front of you really. You don't need to use a mat for any of these. We want to stay nice and line, we're not letting ourselves roll off to the side. And again, if we can, sink a little bit deeper. You push that leg up behind you, but a lot of you are going to be a little bit higher up here. We might even struggle to get that leg at 90 degrees, but if we can, just keep it up there. Even resting your hand a bit, just to encourage it to stay where it is. So we'll take that onto the other side. So again, I'm a little bit tighter on this side as well, so you'll notice that I don't get quite as low on this side. Again, making sure we're not allowing ourselves to roll. Again, most of you are going to be somewhere up here, maybe even with the knees slightly raised. So, those exercises so far we've worked through, they're for the back of the legs, the inner thigh, and the glute. So what we're going to work on now is going to be the quads and the hips. So, what we're going to do is for that exercise, we stay to the same position. These are all really simple to remember, they all stay essentially from the same sort of move. So we're into that same position, and then we're going to put hands onto the floor, bring the leg across. But this time, you can let the heel come down towards the opposite hip. Now what we're going to do is lift and get ourselves nice and tall. Just be careful and mindful of your lower back a little bit here. We're not trying to lift and arc back. It's a nice straight lift. You're going to bend the back leg. Just get a hold of it and stretch there. Now this should give you a really good stretch to the front of the thigh and the hip flexors we've got right at the top. They're the big kicking muscles. So we're getting as tall as we can there. And again, don't worry if you can't hold on to your foot. Quite often when we're teaching classes for cyclists or runners or footballers, we need to use these, which are belts, yoga belts. But you can use anything that's knocking around the house. You can use a towel, you could use a dressing gown kind of tie, anything that you've got that's knocking around the house would be absolutely fine. But it's quite common for you guys to kind of need to use something like this. So you just wrap it around your foot. Don't forget to bring the knee forward again and take the foot inside this time. You reach back, just grab hold of the belt. And then just pulling up right there. So again, you can see how you can use a towel for this, just as easy. So what we're looking for there, guys, is a really good arc from your knee through your hip to your shoulder, just so we can open out through this section of the wall. The straighter you are, the less stretch we're going to get. The more you can push that forwards, the more arc we're going to get, and the greater stretch that we'll have. So the final move that we'll do is just a twisting move, guys. Nice and easy. This is the only one that's in a slightly different position as well. So if you come to just a kneeling position, and again, it doesn't matter whereabouts we can get to. A lot of us find it quite hard to do. We haven't done it since we were kids in school. So your knees might be up there somewhere. It's fine. Wherever we're at is absolutely fine, guys. So for me, I'm just going to drop out to the side. What we'd do, we'd take one hand, place it on the opposite knee. Other hand comes behind you to stabilise you, to get you tall. And we rotate. So you're using this hand to kind of pull you around. You can even then stretch that and block it out a little bit further. We don't want you to lean back here. We're trying to stay nice and tall so we get a good stretch through one side of your lower back. And then just turn your head so you're reaching out behind you. And then we come to the other side. So you reach your hand right across. Other hand goes behind you. And we're reaching behind. Growing tall as we're doing it. Perfect. We'll come back to the middle. So guys, these sorts of stretches, poses, try to think of them as yoga poses. Take them as stretches. We can, if possible, try and hold these things for around about 30 seconds at a time. You can come out and go back into them as many times as you can. But a good 30 seconds will actually retrain the muscles, get a little bit more length back into it. When we tend to do stretches before and after games, things tend to be just quick 5, 10, maximum 15 second stretches. That doesn't really retrain the muscle. What we're looking at getting out of this is to make the muscle longer and keep it there. Okay, so the longer a muscle is, the stronger you can make it, therefore the more powerful you can be, the faster you can be, which is obviously always going to be a good thing, give you that extra half a yard. If you've got any questions, obviously feel free to get onto our Facebook page, Variety Fitness, or of course drop us an email. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I shall speak to you soon.